Well, according to local sources, this was the site of the original Silicon Valley, here along the Mediterranean coast of Israel, where about 5,000 years ago, the Phoenicians first used silicon to manufacture glassware. Well, there's a different kind of Silicon Valley growing up in Israel these days, with large American computer companies like Microsoft, Intel, and IBM running major R&D centers here, and innovative Israeli companies exporting leading-edge computer software products. Today, we visit the high-tech center of the Middle East on this special edition of the Computer Chronicles.
Computer Chronicles is brought to you in part by Intel, microprocessor technology for the software of today and tomorrow. Intel, the computer inside. Additional funding is provided by the Software Publishers Association, providers of educational materials to help manage software. Don't copy that floppy. And by Hewlett-Packard, Personal Computer Division.
Welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stewart Cheifet, and with me today is Dan Vilnai, president of Computer Access Technology Corporation. Dan, you and your partner are Israelis who have come here to California. You formed a company called CATC to develop and market this access bus technology. What is it?
Access bus is a communication protocol that allows you to connect multiple devices to a single port on the computer. For example,
so
here
we have,
we
what,
see
3 mice?
2 mice, 1 trackball that are connected through the access bus port.
So there's really just one wire going into this machine.
That's right. And each one of these devices controls a different cursor on the screen, so you can have multiple people.
And now you say you've had plug and play. I can actually plug in a 4th input device without rebooting or reconfiguring.
Exactly.
And it'll know what's going on?
Try it.
I will try it. As a 4th one, I'm plugging this trackball. And hey, there's my 4th guy over there. Pretty good. All right, what's the deal on the keyboards then?
Let's go
okay, let's see. I've got control right now, I guess. So
yeah, go over to the keyboard.
Okay, so I'm running the computer over here.
Right.
And now
I have a keyboard that is not plugged in, and I do want to plug it in. So I go on and I plug it in.
And there are you.
I have my own window, and
I have mine. We're both working on the same machine at the same time.
Exactly.
Wow. All right. This is the board over here?
Yeah, this is the board that is the heart of the access bus in this machine. It's an add-on board for the PC. The second board is a similar product for the Sun workstations, and it brings access bus to the Sun workstation.
What's the application of this technology? I know you can plug up to 120 different input devices into one little 386. How would you use that?
Right. It's input and output devices, and you can use it in education, probably in a classroom environment.
Every student with his own keyboard.
Exactly, or in simulations and games. You can use it in CAD/CAM, in data acquisition. You can use it in point of sales.
Okay.
The list is endless.
Thank you. All right, today we will travel to the Middle East to explore the computer industry in Israel and find out why so many American computer companies are doing business there.
A significant number of the really incredible developers we had hired were saying to us that they wanted to go back to Israel and work there.
This was Fall Comdex 1992, where the featured international attraction was the Israeli Resources Forum, Israeli computer companies trying to make deals with American partners. But Microsoft had already made its deal. 2 years ago, Gates decided to follow some of his Israeli engineers and to set up shop here in Haifa on the Mediterranean coast. Haifa is one leg of the Israeli high-tech triangle, stretching east to Jerusalem and south to Tel Aviv.
In the triangle of Haifa, Jerusalem, and Tel Aviv, I think there are nearly as many computer scientists as practically as in Silicon Valley, maybe second to Silicon Valley in Route 128 in Boston.
With jobs hard to get in the Silicon Valley these days, many Israeli engineers who were working at American computer companies have decided to come back to Israel, where there are now 2,000 vacancies for software engineers. One of the returning engineers was Microsoft's Yaron Shamir, but he decided to bring along Microsoft with him.
I came back to Israel and learned a little bit, how much do you rent for a square meter? What will it cost the average engineer? Got some previous experience from people at Intel and others, IBM and others, and brought that back as data. And after 2 or 3 months, we sat in a meeting with Bill Gates, and they made the decision to try it out.
The Israeli engineers here at Microsoft are working on major projects, among them developing a migration path for OS/2 users so they can be talked into switching to Windows NT. The current version of NT lets you migrate text from OS/2, but what you see here is a full graphical migration of Excel that lets you run OS/2's Presentation Manager graphical user interface under Windows NT. Another product of the Israeli engineers is Win32s, which lets you run 32-bit applications under Windows 3.1. And the Israeli team is also working on Cairo, Microsoft's codename for the next version of Windows NT. The first company to set up shop in Israel was Intel back in 1974. In fact, Intel was supposed to open up here in 1973, but the Yom Kippur War forced a one-year delay. Intel now has over 1,200 employees in Israel, and they've been responsible for several major Intel products.
The product line of math coprocessors from the 8087 going into 8187, 8287, and then into 8387 that was developed here also.
All of the work here at Intel Israel involves VLSI development and design, with the emphasis on product testing and quality and reliability engineering. The equipment here is state-of-the-art. In this E-beam lab, the engineers are conducting failure analysis tests on a new cache controller chip. This is the main computer control center at Intel. Since it's a climate-controlled sealed room, this also doubled as the chemical bomb shelter during the Iraqi Scud raids on Israel in the days of the Gulf War. One Scud missile did fall just a few yards from the Motorola headquarters here in Tel Aviv, but the engineers at Motorola seem to take it all in stride.
Well, when you do business across the world as a global company, you cannot worry about things like that. You just have to assume that you can manage and do your work, and when a problem arises, you know how to solve it.
The Motorola team in Tel Aviv is working on the Power PC chip and on new 68,000 series chips. They are also doing work on this digital signal processing controller, which will go into a new optical disk drive. Motorola is the biggest American employer in Israel with over 3,000 employees. Motorola does everything here from design and development to production and manufacturing using the latest state-of-the-art equipment. IBM is also here in Israel. In fact, IBM not only does engineering and design work here, it is the biggest purchaser of Israeli computer technology, accounting for more than half of Israel's $250 million technology exports. In the past, most of Israel's business deals were the result of politics. Some businesses boycotted Israeli companies, and others did business with Israelis because of a Jewish connection. But according to IBM, all that has changed now.
I believe that both Zionism and the anti or the Arab boycott effect are much weaker today. We are beyond it. Today, the Israeli supplier is evaluated by its technology. It's evaluated what American companies who are coming to Israel are really looking at their own economics, and I think that's the right way to look at it.
At the IBM R&D Center in Haifa, they did most of the work on the new IBM Windsurfer board, a multifunction communication center all on one expansion board. It features a programmable DSP chip so it can be upgraded via software. With the newest version of the Windsurfer board, you can turn your PC into a complete duplex voicemail system. The major contribution of the Israeli engineering team was the M-Wave speech processing algorithm, which allows you to speed up or slow down speech without pitch degradation or distortion.
This is a demonstration of the Haifa Research Group M-Wave speech processor.
Digital is another major player here in Israel. This is the Semiconductor Engineering Group. They are doing work on the Alpha chip, on new CAD tools, and on graphics and network chips. The digital team uses the latest high-level behavioral language for designing chips. The engineers basically define the functionality they want, and the actual design is done automatically using new computer-aided layout and design tools. One problem the Israeli engineers have is their obligation to the Israeli army. Everyone has to spend 1 month a year on Army Reserve duty. But even here, the Israelis use their technology to overcome that obstacle.
Well, we have laptops, we have cellular phones, we tap into our network to that. We try to be in constant touch. Actually, every engineer that goes from here to the army, if he is really on a critical part, we'll get communication, the communication facilities with him, so that we can minimize the impact.
Digital not only has its own semiconductor engineering group here, but it is also a partner with the government in a new venture called Negev Software Industries. These are Russian engineers working in the middle of the Negev desert. One of the reasons the Israeli computer industry has blossomed over the past few years has been the influx of over 150,000 Russian engineers who have left the former Soviet Union. The Russians are working for virtually every major Israeli computer company.
A lot of the new immigrants who we've had recently who've come to the country are very, very skilled, and they were, the ones who came from Russia, very skilled in building software using very poor tools. Because they sent rockets to the moon, they managed to build nuclear weapons, and they did everything that was done everywhere else in the world, only they had reasonably primitive software tools. You bring these people to a country like Israel and give them very, very modern software tools and become very, very productive very, very quickly.
And the Russians are not only good, they're inexpensive.
We are able today to squeeze out of every dollar much more R&D than any of our competitors, whether in Israel or in the States or in Western Europe.
Negev Software Industries, or NSI, was created specifically to utilize the talents of the Russian programmers. The main work here is software testing and quality control. They are also doing localization of DEC software products for foreign markets, working on migration paths for mainframe users, and developing network drivers for various DEC products. Alexander Katz is originally from Azerbaijan in the former Soviet Union, and despite being stuck now in the middle of the Negev desert, he says he doesn't feel isolated.
From the digital point of view, we're just around the clock, around the table, around the corner, because we are connected to the local internal digital computer network with a 64 kilobit link. And from here, I see it exactly as I sit in Herzliya in our main office, and I can connect to everybody and talk to 50,000 different computers which are on the network.
One of the major Israeli achievements has been growing food in the desert, and that too has been the result of Israeli technology. Coming up next, computers on the farm. For most of Israel's 45-year history, the main export and the principal economic activity has been agriculture, successfully growing and selling fruits and vegetables. But today's high-tech Israel is no longer content just to sell food. They are now selling computer technology to other countries to help them grow more food on their own. This is a kibbutz in the north of Israel. One of its main jobs is running this dairy farm. 250 cows, nearly 9,000 liters of milk a day. With limited land and limited resources, these Israeli farmers have to maximize their dairy output. And to do that, they designed a herd management and feeding system that runs on a PC. This is real-time software from a company called Anat that lets you manage your herd. You can monitor cow intake and output, calculate the optimum level of protein content in the feed to maximize the amount of milk produced by the cow. You can track the whole herd and calculate the most efficient time to inseminate the cows so as to minimize downtime and maximize calving. You can also analyze each cow to see who your best performers are. In a country where water is a scarce commodity, the management of farm irrigation is also a likely subject for Israeli technology. This is irrigation management software developed by Formula Systems, one of Israel's largest software development companies. You can not only design and monitor a complete irrigation system using this software, but you can actually operate the system, opening and closing pumps and valves, or the software can run the system on autopilot, following an intelligent design that locates problems in the system and automatically reacts with solutions. The software also has a simulation mode that lets the operator design a water distribution plan that gets maximum irrigation using the least amount of water. Formula Systems irrigation management software is now being used in countries in Eastern Europe and in South America. One of the most successful software exporters in Israel is a company called Magic Software, located here in Tel Aviv. Their specialty is rapid software development tools designed for use by companies that are migrating their applications from mainframe computers to client-server systems. Magic holds 20% of the market in Japan and is now exporting its software to 44 countries thanks to a unique development environment.
It's different in the way that Magic is, we call, code-free. It enables you to develop applications without writing one line of code. And it's a very different, revolutionary methodology. We claim it's revolutionary because in all other languages, whether object-oriented or not, you have to write lines and lines and lines of code in order to develop a custom-made business application. While with Magic, all you do is fill in decision tables.
Magic has many blue-chip customers in the United States, including Dunkin' Donuts, Wells Fargo Bank, Walt Disney, Conoco, and Keyport Life Insurance. Another Israeli software company making its name in object-oriented development tools is MLL Computer Systems. Their niche is application tools for the PC.
Today, we are introducing the first real object-oriented application generator for the PC technology. There is no such a product exists today in the world. We know it, and we have started to market it, and we are going to release now a new product, the same generator under Windows, and we do believe that we will be able to sell it worldwide.
Another Israeli export success is educational software. This is the Hadassah Comprehensive School outside Jerusalem. The entire curriculum here is based on computers, and the students love it.
Well, in biology especially, you can see things. For instance, if you learn about babies, you can see the way they grow and everything. I mean, recently we learned about it. And you see all the stages as if it's really much better than just a textbook. And also, it's much more interesting, it's more colorful, it's much more useful, it's much easier.
The software they are using here is from a company called Edunetics. It was first developed in English for export to the United States and then translated into Hebrew for use at home. The software is a complete classroom package covering not only the academic subjects, but also testing, grading, and teacher administration. Logal is another Israeli company that has been successful exporting educational software to the United States. Their programs all use a proprietary software engine called the Explorer and a unique black box interface called an MBL, or microcomputer-based laboratory. The basic engine can be used to teach anything from chemistry to biology to physics, and the software can be adapted for any grade level, from elementary school to college. It's essentially a complex laboratory simulation using an algorithm developed by a Russian programmer. Logal's strategy is to get into high schools and colleges by bundling their software with textbooks.
Students right now have notebooks, they know how to use computers, and when you tie with a big publisher of scientific books, physics, mathematics, economics, you name it, you have a very big audience that is just waiting for you.
These Israeli students may be getting a good education thanks to computers, but the real trump card for Israel's high-tech industry is the training young people get in the Israeli army. Coming up next, the peace dividend. For decades, the Israeli army has been one of the most advanced, high-tech fighting forces in the world. And one of the benefits of that tradition has been the steady spin-off of state-of-the-art computer technology from the military into the commercial sector, especially in the areas of telecommunications and image analysis. This is a CAT scan machine, the CT Twin, developed by an Israeli company called Elsind. It is the most advanced computer-aided tomography machine in the world, using sophisticated sensors and software to provide doctors with incredible three-dimensional, real-time pictures of a patient's internal organs. In the area of imaging technology, Israel is a world leader, and that has led to cutting-edge software products in fields like optical character recognition and handwriting recognition tools. Here at Decision Systems Israel, DSI, 320 computer engineers apply the skills they learned in the Israeli army to civilian applications. DSI developed a sophisticated image processing system that was originally designed to identify targets for the Israeli Air Force. They then turned that technology into one of their newest civilian products, an automatic line officiating system for tennis.
Being able to combine or to hook together so many cameras to a single system, to control it, and to manage and provide information within half a second, this by itself is another subject that only companies that got some experience with military application can do it.
They've also applied their aerial surveillance technology to a new notebook computer product designed to function as a multimedia navigation guide in an automobile. And they've applied military command and control technology to this new product called EPSM, Electric Power Supply Management. This system allows the power company to read your electric meter by remote control, sending signals along existing power lines. Advanced Maintenance Systems is using its experience with the Israeli Air Force in another way. The AMS system, based on Oracle software, has been sold to Air France. It is essentially a gigantic database with optically stored images, which enables an aircraft maintenance worker to have instant access to an illustrated maintenance manual that is customized for the particular plane he is working on. Ligature is another Israeli company that is taking advantage of the country's expertise in image processing. Ligature's product is an advanced optical character recognition engine that can not only read characters intelligently, but it can also decipher the control codes in a document and give you a binary file that can exactly reproduce your scanned document. The secret is neural network technology.
As far as we know, we are the only one who use such pureness of stochastic algorithms. Of course, neural network has become a fashion, also a buzzword, and many people try to see what added value can it bring. But we started it from the core. The kernel of the product was started in the vision that it should be based on neural networks. It is not an add-on or a patch.
Ligature's software is not only state-of-the-art, but it's selling for about 30% less than its American competitors. Softel is another Israeli company specializing in OCR. This is a 6-month-old startup which already has a contract with the Israeli Census Bureau for processing all the national census data with optical scanning technology rather than paper.
The idea is that people, after filling in forms and sending them to the office, rather than handling actual documents, we will scan them and handle images of documents from that point on.
The key technology is built-in intelligence which can decipher handwritten characters, plus built-in error checking, which alerts the operator to logically inconsistent answers, and a proprietary image compression technology which lets you store millions of images on one drive. IBM was so impressed with Softel that they bought half the company and are using Softel's technology under OS2. Some of the most leading-edge image processing work is being done here at Hebrew University in Jerusalem. The researchers are focusing on motion analysis for applications in robot vision. Their work has led to an extraordinary technology that lets you delete moving images from a videotape, essentially letting you create a video of an event which never happened. Here you see original video of a woman walking across a room, and then the processed video, which shows the same room at the same time with no woman in the picture. The robot vision work at Hebrew University is so advanced that it is one of the few foreign research centers in the world that has an R&D contract with the U.S. Defense Department for research into unmanned ground vehicles or robot tanks. The researchers at Hebrew University are also doing world-class work in mathematical topography. Perhaps one of the most spectacular Israeli achievements is in the area of pen input and handwriting recognition. This is a small startup company called ART, Advanced Recognition Technologies. They have developed handwriting recognition software which treats the input not as an image but as a pure digital signal. Their engineers formerly worked in military intelligence and are applying electronic warfare technology to the problem of pen input. Their software resides in the operating system so it can be used in any application. The software has 2 layers of recognition, character analysis, and then linguistic analysis. The software can read unrestrained writing even when letters overlap or are drawn at odd angles. Israel's current strength in software technology and microprocessor design is only the tip of the iceberg here in the Middle East. The real goal of the computer industry here is to eventually utilize all the talent in this region of the world, Israeli and Arab, to turn this region into not only a religious Mecca, but a world center for computer technology.
Even in the first step, when we will have an agreement on autonomy in the West Bank and Gaza, we already foresee and we prepare ourselves for a joint development of the economies of the territory in Israel, in which we already invite investment also of Arab entrepreneurs from Arab countries or Palestinians who are abroad, and there are beginnings of interest.
Israel, a country famous for its past, is now focusing on its future. And one of the keys to that future is the computer industry, exports of hardware and software. But there is one wild card to Israel's high-tech future, and that is peace. For foreign investment to continue, for business confidence to thrive, Israel needs peace with its Arab neighbors. Only then will it fully realize its potential as one of the major high-tech centers of the world. For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Stewart Cheifet in Jerusalem.
Computer Chronicles is brought to you in part by Intel, microprocessor technology for the software of today and tomorrow. Intel, the computer inside. Additional funding is provided by the Software Publishers Association, providers of educational materials to help manage software. Don't copy that floppy. And by Hewlett-Packard, Personal Computer Division.
Video cassette copies of this program are available. Computer Chronicles also publishes a companion newsletter containing details on products demonstrated and information on program topics. To order a video cassette or a newsletter, call 1-800-799-4949 or write Computer Chronicles. Please specify program subject for tapes. All orders include a free software program for auditing software use and information on the definitive guide to keeping your organization's software legal.